All right, guys, one of our favorite people to speak to. Great to see him in Sydney, but it's even more exciting to catch up with him here in person right now to get the update on what's next. Our good friend Dan Hooker, welcome back to Submission Radio, man. It's great to have you on the program.
Thank you, boys. Good to be back. Yeah, Sydney, it's good to have a bit of fun now and then. You know what I mean?
100%. I was going to say who could forget Sydney, but then again, I've already forgotten most of it because summer nights, man. Dude, so before
we can never speak on this.
Literally. We'll get into what's next for you and stuff. You got the arm back and everything, but just, dude, quickly, we're scrolling through your feed, right? And we noticed, obviously, not only do you have a bunch of new tats, but then there's like all these people with tattoos of you, your face, don't hunt what you can't kill tats. How crazy has that been for you, like in the last few months or however long, to notice that people have got like, tats of you on their bodies?
Oh, it was pretty cool. We were at one of the UFC events there in Sydney, and then a couple of guys came up and they showed me the tattoo on they had it on their ankles of "Don't hunt what you can't kill," and I was just like, "What?"
Yeah.
They said, "Oh, there's 5 more of us that have it as well." I was like, "Man, that's crazy! Like, that's cool. That's cool."
Oh man, I loved it. And also, wasn't there a face? Didn't someone get like a face as well?
Yeah. That's Jason. He's a tattoo artist here in New Zealand, and someone did that. Apparently, my skin's pretty hard to tattoo, but covered in blood, it makes it stand out a lot more. So that one was sick. That's it's cool. It's cool to see like the impact that it kind of had. Like that last kind of fight. Yeah, people were kind of taking. That's pretty iconic at this point. It's cool. It's cool to see.
It was a crazy fight. It was fun watching it, but yeah, just surreal, man. Like somebody went in to get your face tattooed on them. That's like the highest compliment, basically. Humbling and complimentary at the same time, I imagine. And then you've been cleared by the docs, right? The arm is back in action.
Yeah, no, good as gold. I've been sparring for the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and just get my fitness back, because that's I don't like doing CrossFit. I don't like going for runs. I don't. So how I get fit is I throw some gloves on. I come down to the gym and I fight until I'm fit again. So it's been a couple of weeks of drowning, but when I sparred last on Saturday, I was as good as I've ever been going into any camp. So I'm like, now I'm ready for action. I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to jump into a training camp and get this party started again.
Fuck yeah, man. Did the doctor prescribe like a heavy dose of like masturbation sessions in preparation and rehab for this arm? Is he like, listen, Dan, I don't know about this fighting stuff that you do, but like now we got to step it up. All right. 7 times a day, baby.
If only.
Yeah.
If only.
I think you're onto something, Cassie. That is a good rehab tool. Hey, I was going to say, who likes CrossFit, right? That's the only thing that makes me run, people wanting me to go to CrossFit. I just run the other way. I was going to say, man, by the way, what about Bobby Green? Let's talk about him for a sec, because yesterday he picked up an impressive win over Grant Dawson, put him away in 33 seconds, and kind of did something that like people expected a big fight and a good fight, but didn't expect maybe it to go that way. What did you think of the actual way it went down and how Bobby was able to pick up that win?
Yeah. Dawson's legit, bro. Like that kid's a problem. That kid's a problem. And then for Bobby to go out there and clean him up the way that he cleaned him up, that's a heap of momentum. Beating number 10, he'll probably be number 10 by the end of this week. And like that's it. It's you wanna fight people that have heaps of momentum. You want to fight people that get you excited. Like, I don't think too much about it. Now I have a manager. I have to message him before I start calling people out. But I just straight away after that performance, I was just like, would love to fight him.
Yeah. I also feel like there's a bunch of people that you look at, you watch them fight, and then you're like, I like to fight you too. You're not too stressed about it. But that brings us up a good point about the manager. We were going to ask you, like, who do you want next? What do you want next? Does that mean no more call-outs from Dan Hooker?
Oh, nah. Let the couples fight. But I've probably asked him for 4 or 5 fights since the last couple of weeks. So you haven't seen any of the. You've only seen one call out of 5 people that I wanted to fight. So it's he's good at holding me back, keep me on the reins, keep me because like the amount of times I messaged him and asked him to let me punch Moicano's head in was getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because there's always like good fights. You got to pick, like, you got to be smart about it and this and that. But yeah, I just want to get out there and fight. He wanted me to fight. Well, I wanted to fight like Gamrot. That's why I think that's a cool fight. He's kind of sitting in the, like, he thinks he's gonna sit around and kind of wait. Yeah, he just wants to sit and wait and have a look. But yeah, like the Gamrot's the fight that I wanted. But Bobby Green's an impressive performance. I don't see why I can't. And that's like a lot sooner. Gamrot was talking he wants to sit around till March or something. I can't wait that long. I'm good to go December, Jan, and Bobby wants to turn it around quick. So I'm more than happy to oblige that good sir.
You're a nice guy. I like that. Because I was going to say with Gamrot, so he's the backup for the title fight, right?
Yeah, I don't know all about that. But yeah, like Gaethje's next in line, and then you probably Poirier will come out and fight the loser of that fight, which still leaves him kind of stuck with no fight. So yeah, I just can't be bothered sitting around and waiting to see how that plays out.
Yeah.
It's not in my nature to kind of sit around and fuck spiders. It's just time to
well, yeah, that's right.
It's time to fight. Like, I'm good to fight. I want to fight. Let's fight.
Go take them to dinner first. It's not just about fucking them. It's about being in a real relationship with the spiders before you enter such a thing.
I was gonna say, because like, yeah, just the Gamrot one has me interested, right? Because if you were to go in there, I know that might be a little bit later on, but if you were to go in, fight a guy who's obviously the backup for the title, that'd be massive. You pick up a win over him, it's like all of a sudden you're right in there in title contention, right?
Yeah. That's I guess that's a call out then. If Gamrot wants to fight, let's turn it around and let's fight. He wants to go over there and weigh in for nothing. Like, may as well stay fit and get a fight in.
There's huge.
The boys say hi on Submission Radio.
Hey, that's a love. I just love how we're talking call outs and you're like, I'm not supposed to be doing this, I'm not supposed to do that, and then you just appears out of nowhere. Hey Dan, what are you doing? You're not calling anyone out, are you? No. We're just talking fun things. No, fucking spiders and stuff.
It's all cleared. It's all cleared.
Good.
All right. I've run it past management. We're good to go.
Did you run it by any handsome bearded men lately? And mutual friends by any chance? That's a yes.
So Dan, the interesting thing here is as well, right? With Bobby, he has to get his hand checked. So Gamrot could be a very real possibility. I wonder, just going on to speaking of Gamrot, you spoke to us earlier about how, he's a bit of a tricky fight. He's a little bit more deceiving than what many people think he is when they go on to fight him. Like, how do you see a fight between you and Gamrot going? He's kind of like sneakily one of the trickiest guys in the division, I think.
Nah, like, he's smart. He's a smart fighter. Yeah, like he does the thing. You know what I mean? He preserves himself. He doesn't take. He doesn't go out there and take a lot of damage. He fights to. He fights to the scorecards. You can't, like. He's a smart fighter. He's like. Bobby's a fun one, right? Like, we go out there and touch gloves. Like, we're just gonna have a fight. Like, that sounds like fun to me. You know what I mean? Like, that's a fun one. Gamrot's a tricky one in that. You're gonna have to be a bit more patient and a bit more slowed down. But Gamrot is like, that's the fight that gets me to where I want to go. It's like, that's it. Gamrot, like, I'm asking for Gamrot. If Gamrot doesn't want it, me and Bobby Green mix it up. Like, my manager's already contacted Sean Shelby and the UFC that I'm good to go and want to have a fight. So it's like, first in, best dressed. First and best dressed. If Gamrot wants to sit and wait, he wants to sit and wait. I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to wait around for him. I'm ready for action.
So it's whoever can basically fight. Is it 296 in December? Is that the sort of target card?
Oh, bro, that's full. Like it was, you know what I mean? Like Moicano was calling me out for that, and I'm just like, bro, have you seen that card? Like, well, I'm gonna fight Moicano on the prelims, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like Dana White apparently said something like he'd make an exception for Bobby or whatever. If maybe who knows, you and him. But but it would be a prelim. It would be a prelim thing,
You're gonna go fight on the prelims. It's like, bro, that's like Bobby just coming off a main event. You can't like jump from a main event to a prelim. Like that's a bit rough. No. You know what I mean? It's like it's an energy thing. Like you get more excitement from the fans. Like that definitely plays that plays into the fight, and makes the fight more exciting and easier and better to train for.
And Alex, sorry to jump in, I was going to say Alex Volkanovski's fighting in Jan. It looks like in Canada anyway, so maybe pair up with a teammate.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Like I love fighting on the same cards as Volt. It's like you can always just look over and you know he's doing what you're supposed to be doing, so it's easy. It's easy to copy that man. So it's like, but Bobby Green, December. Bobby Green on that card with Volk if the December one's full. But Gamrot, if he wants it, he can get it, bro. Like that's a fight that gets me to where I want to go. First in, best dressed. Let's party.
Yeah. Make sure you're dressed. I think that you hit the nail on the head. I think you hit the nail on the head with that one as well. Like,
I refuse.
Clothing is optional. I think you hit the nail on the head. Like Gamrot, you beat a guy like that, and you're like instantly sort of in title contention just because of how high up he is, him being the backup. Whereas the Bobby fight is just like a fun fight. That's like a vintage Dan Hooker fight. That's like a know.
I don't know. Like it all like builds momentum. Like I don't see it as like a nothing fight or like a silly fight. I think like just because of the momentum he's coming off with a win like that, like it's recent, it's in everyone's minds. Like he's got like a lot of momentum. Like I'm coming back from injury, but a momentum wouldn't hurt. If you're going to put yourself in title contention, you need to have that momentum behind you. It's the same thing as like Gamrot. Like he doesn't. Yeah, he's in the position. If you're playing like the little numbers game and just like reading it black and white and on paper, but in reality, like he's coming, like it was like an injury win. You know what I mean? Like I've kind of kicked him and tore his ACL out. It wasn't really like an emphatic victory that can like carry a lot of weight with it.
No, 100%. I think Bobby's the kind of fight where like you get into a fight like that, and then there's going to be a lot more people getting your face tattooed on them after a fight like that. It can't not be fun. You know what I mean? It can't not be fun. I have to ask you though, what do you think about Bobby's late career resurgence, man? It's been fucking impressive the way this guy's just been rattling off wins and just like doing so much better in like the latter stages. What do you sort of attribute that to?
Yeah, you like experience. You get better at this thing by doing it. He's been in big fights. It's similar with my career. Like we've been in big fights. We've been in hard fights. We've been knocked around. People like call it resurgence, if you will. But it's just like the level of experience you have from going through all of that and still being in the game and still getting better is a million times better than a guy coming in like who's undefeated and who's never been tested and stuff like that. You can't tell me that guy has a shot against. Like you wouldn't put like a young kid who's 10-0 against either me or Bobby Green. Like they just get cleaned up with just sheer experience. So it's like that sheer experience. If you don't get disheartened and you don't get like knocked down by the difficult times, like look how much better you become as a fighter.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. Speaking of looking better, our good friends at Manscaped always have you covered when it comes to looking better and being the best version of yourself. And this year for Halloween, they've stepped it up. They've taken a step up from Halloween with one of their greatest inventions yet. The all-new Handyman right here, your personal shaver. This right here, I'll be honest with you, I never used the traditional beard shavers. I would always just use a beard trimmer to get rid of the neck beard at the bottom because I have crappy skin. And I definitely didn't used to use razors because I'd get the ingrown hairs. This right here solves all of that. It gives you that smooth finish without the mess of a traditional shave. Don't be looking spooky with a scraggly beard this year. Use the Manscaped's Handyman. It's got the skin-safe technology to help reduce nicks and cuts so you can finally feel confident when you're going for that close shave. It's for wet or dry use. Feel free to bring this anywhere and everywhere. The compact design is airplane friendly. It makes the perfect travel tool for on the go. And that's important because I literally just got back from Spain and France. And I'll tell you what, there was a whole bunch of things getting confiscated from my carry-on luggage because it didn't fit the bill. Some of my tweezers in the past, some of I had a moisturizer that got confiscated. So it's very important to know that you can actually take this through on your carry-on luggage, and being able to shave up to 3 days growth without the mess of a wet shave is absolutely priceless. Isn't that right, Dennis?
That's right, man. Say hello to your new little friend, the Handyman. Make sure to get 20% off and free shipping by using the code word submission now at Manscaped today, Cass.
That's right. Also, UFC 294 is around the corner. Obviously, you want to find a cheeky venue we can watch it and maybe have a pub meal and a couple of pints. But before we get there, obviously this weekend you got Tim Tszyu versus Brian Mendoza. On Sunday, the 15th of October, it's at 12 p.m. And I'll show you, our good friends at Fanzo have you covered. I've got it up right here. They're showing, all you got to do is jump on the app. It's completely free. You jump on, put in the fixture, which is Tim Tszyu, Brian Mendoza, and it shows you a bunch of locations in your area, a bunch of pubs, and it tells you, what they have, what they don't have. So let's go the Windsor Ale House. We'll have a look what it's got. 4.4 rating. They have 6 screens, commentary. They serve food, Wi-Fi. They got a beer garden. And a projector. Not bad, not bad. We'll check out the Sporting Globe if we want some options. 50 screens, commentary, serves food, garden, projector, and an outdoor screen. See, this is why Fanzo saved us. We could have been watching on 6 screens like a bunch of plebs, but now we've got 50 screens. Fanzo to the rescue yet again. Isn't that right, Dennis?
That's right, man. I can't wait to see Tim Tszyu take on Brian Mendoza in his WBO world title defense. It's going to be huge. You got to watch it with everybody at the pub. And of course, Fanzo is your best way to do it. Make sure to click the link in the description below. It's the ultimate venue finder. Make sure you find the best pub for your mates, best menu, best deals, best screens, best everything. A big thanks to Fanzo for making that happen. But by the way, Dan, I got to get your thoughts on this interesting matchup in your division with Tony Ferguson and Paddy Pimblett, man. I actually, because me and Cass, we had to take a little break after Sydney, and I was silly thinking, maybe Tony's getting cut or something, like something weird's going on. But then I saw it was him versus Paddy Pimblett, and I was like, whoa, man, is this real? I had to check. It was one of those websites that just creates fake fights out of nowhere. But sure enough, yeah, it worked out. Coctagon was right this time around. My subscription, $29 subscription to them was worthwhile for once. What did you make when you actually saw this fight come together? Because for me, I almost was a little bit shocked by this fight coming together for some reason.
I think it's a good fight. There's a lot of negative kind of comments about it. I think it's a good fight. I think that's a very winnable fight for Tony. Tony's on a bit of a slump, but that's against the elites of the division who are being super active. He looked good in that last fight against Bobby Green. Paddy's still reasonably untested. I don't think it's I actually think it's a really good fight. I actually think it's a great matchup. I think that's I think it's 50-50, if not 60-40 in Tony's favor.
Yeah. I think also just with the knockout power that Tony has, and Tony's looked good until he hasn't in the last few fights. He's had his moments. And I just think that
I think he started to look better. I think he had a couple of performances where he looked real flat. I think the Diaz fight he looked real flat. But then
there was so much going on in that fight week though, and the last minute opponent change as well.
Yeah, it was no knock, and he was doing the welterweight thing, which I think is not. So for him to be back at 55, and then who's the interview with Hill Ariel, and he made the most sense he's ever made in an interview, and I was like, that's it, because that's kind of what I always say. If you can't answer for yourself, if you can't answer questions that are getting asked about you and your career and where you're projecting and where you're coming from, I feel like that's always a bad sign when you just hide away and do the Ronda Rousey, no media, because you're scared. You know what I mean? It's because you're scared to answer the questions that people were going to ask. But for Tony to come out in that last interview and just make a lot of sense into what he's saying about what was happening in his career and where he's going, I feel like it's a good fight. I'm going 60-40. I'm going 60-40 Tony in that fight.
I actually thought, like, one of the reasons I thought it was weird is I was like, I don't think this is a great fight for Pimblett at all. Like, I don't know what the UFC is doing here, but I was happy to see Tony actually get a nice fight for a change and a good opportunity. I mean, he's got lots of opportunities, but I feel like a good chance for him to reset. But yeah, no, it was an interesting one in the division. Gaz, I was going to also, sorry, Dan, I know you have to go to training. Sorry to jump in, Gaz, but I was going to quickly also ask Dan, before you go in, what's your read on this main event next weekend? Because this is another interesting one in your division. A lot of people basically have Charles Oliveira written off here, think Islam's going to get it done again. But do you think he might surprise people, maybe put in a bit of performance of what they think he will?
Yeah, I don't know how that one's going to play out. It's entirely like up to Charles. Like Charles just goes out there and just is like when he's at his best and most dangerous is like when he goes out there and he just attacks and he's just like super offensive. It puts a lot of guys off. And then when he fought Islam, he kind of he did what we all did, which is kind of like just the mystique of everything. You get kind of start overthinking things a bit much. Like because he's already been through that before, I guarantee you that he's kind of learned the same lessons that we all learned getting in there. You're like, oh, this guy's not. I just have to go out there and do what I always do. The mystique is it's just smoke and mirrors. It's just mystique. So yeah, Charles goes out there and fights the way that he fights. He's in with a good shot.
It'll be good, man. I'm very curious to see. Are you going to be watching that one live, or are you going to be at Blake's house, the pirate ship, written off?
Well, when is it? What do we got this weekend? 2 weeks?
2 weeks. Not this Sunday, next Sunday.
Oh, I'm going down to Carl's. I'm doing a seminar at Carl's, and then I believe we're having a bit of a shindig down there.
Bit of a shindig.
Canapes.
These shindigs are never a bit of a shindig. It'll be a shindig.
Bit of a shindig. Might be a write-off.
Yeah.
Say, might catch the replay, or I might have to catch the replay.
It'd be like, what was it, Chandler and Tony, where you thought Tony won? For like a few hours.
Wake up the next day and was like, Tony won that.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was not watching that.
All right, we'll let you go, man. You got training, big huges in there.
I got training, boys.
Thank you so much for your time. You and Gamrot. We'll be seeing you soon. Thanks, Dan. Lots of love.
Ciao, boys.